You like that? 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 You like that?
What's going on? It's Coach Williams, and I'm back for another breakdown. So today we are going to talk Kelee Ringo, a guy that a lot of people going into the season thought might be CB1, that he might be, a guy that's going to go in the first round. We're going to watch this video. We're going to watch him going up against Tennessee. We're going to watch his technique, see what he does, see how he plays, and then we'll come to our conclusions at the end. So in this game, he had an opportunity to go up against Jalen Hyatt since they were playing against Tennessee. But as you'll see in all the clips, he never really ended up covering him. He was mostly on Cedric Tillman. So let's just jump right into this thing. So we got him up here at the top of the screen. And so he's in press coverage, okay? One thing that I really like about him, I like his press technique because it's the way that I coach it. It's the way that I was brought up in it. So I'm a little partial to this technique. So you'll see, I would not call this a false step, okay? I would call this a motor step, right? So he's motoring, right? See, because the feet are still square. He doesn't end up staggered here. And so he's just mirroring and matching the route. I like how patient he is, how he's staying nice and square to the line of scrimmage. I love the hand placement here. This is really good. I love this stab. This is a good job of trying to knock this receiver off his path, especially since we know Tennessee, they use these really wide splits. It doesn't take much to get these guys out of bounds. But as you'll see over the course of the video, this is where the problems start. So this ends up being a run play. Very important. This is why you come to this channel too. You can't just look at the highlights. You can't just look at when the ball is thrown there. You're not going to learn much about somebody's technique unless you look at them play after play after play. And so this is a problem even though the ball doesn't come here, and it'll come up over the course of the video. His eye discipline is really, really bad. So he does have his eyes down on the hip. He's doing a good job here, but as the route starts to develop, look at where his eyes are now. They're moving up the field. He's guessing. He's guessing that this is going to be a vertical. And this is going to be a theme of the video. Not very good against the short and the intermediate stuff, okay? So now we got him over here at the top of the screen here. And so we get this motion. They start out with the tight end in or the H in, and then they motion to a stack, okay? So this is one thing that's going to be a plus for him, okay? Very smart, very instinctive, and very knows a lot about the defense, knows the checks, knows the calls, because you'll see here, look at his hands, okay? He's signaling here that the coverage is going to change, that they're going to be a coverage check because they're in the stack. And so what they're going to do, a lot of people will do this against stacks. This is one of the ways that you can play them, is you play front and back. So you try to confuse the offense by saying, okay, I'm up on the line of scrimmage. I'm going to press him, so I'm going to be man on him. But when the ball is snapped, that's not what happens. He's going to take the guy in the back, and then the guy that's off is going to take the guy in the front. Now this, again, is where the problem comes in, okay? You got to understand where you are on the field. Like, he understands the concept. He understands the formation. He understands the check. But he doesn't understand where he is on the field and where Tennessee is most likely to attack. So like we said, right, look at them. They really like to spread you out, okay? And so these guys, they're on the top of the numbers here into the boundary. Very unlikely that you're going to get some kind of outbreaking route unless it's like a fade or something like that. And if you get that, it's much easier to cut off. You should be worried about the middle of the field. You should be worried that one of these guys is going to try to go and attack the middle of the field. Oftentimes what they'll do is they'll use this guy as a decoy in the front to get a free release to the inside, to run some kind of slant or some kind of crosser or something like that. It's typical of teams that do this, especially Tennessee if you're watching the film. So he jumps to the outside. So what he should do is he should throw this receiver out of his way and stand his ground and not move. He also is moving back, and he's giving this tight end here more space. And this big body tight end is going to body him up, get in the middle of the field, and get a nice, easy completion on a slant. Don't want to see that. Don't want to give up these easy completions. And we'll see it again from the tight here. All right, they motion him out to the stack. And he runs this little slant, and now you're just dead to rights because Ringo's a big cat, man. He's 6'2". I think he's like 214 pounds. Like he's a big cat. But this tight end is bigger than you, so it's gonna be much easier for him to box you out if you give him that space. Nice, easy completion. And I would like to see, he runs 4.39 at the combine. I would like to see here, now that you know that this is going inside, I want to see the burst, right? I want to see that explosion. But he doesn't get there. Completion. So now we got him down here at the bottom of the screen. And again, I like the feet here, right? I love the motor feet. Love it. Gets hands on, forcing him to the sideline. But again, the change of direction is not good because he's guessing. He's guessing at where he's going to go. And the other thing is, I don't just think it's all eye discipline. I do think it's ability too. His feet are very heavy. He's got very heavy feet. We talked about with Mekhi Blackman how he gets those little extra gather steps, and I think him is usually only like 1 or 2 gather steps. If you look at Ringo here, this is like 5 or 6. You know, so he's got to. I don't know if that's something that he can fix, and I'm not surprised that he didn't run like the 3-cone or the short shuttle because I don't think that those numbers would be very good. And then again with the change of direction, gets juked out his shoes. So here, I know a lot of people will say, you know, attack the upfield shoulder and stuff like that. I am not a big fan of that. I want you to attack the hip, okay? If you're out of position like this, there's no way you're going to make a play on this football. You're so beat at this point. So instead of trying to attack the football, attack the receiver, aim for the receiver's hip. He attacks the upfield shoulder, gets juked out his shoes. So we'll see it here from the tight as well. They're going fast here, right? He's very late, nowhere near in a position to make a play on the football. So attack the hip of the receiver. He attacks the upfield shoulder. Again, problems with the change of direction. Feet very heavy. Look at the feet here. Look at how heavy his feet are. Very heavy feet. Can't get there. All right, so now we got him at the bottom of the screen. Again, press. Love the motor feet, but balance. Balance is a big problem for him, and I think that's another piece to why he has trouble changing direction. So off the bat, I like the feet. I like that he's not giving ground here, and I like that he's being physical. But we've talked about this a ton on this channel. The 2-hand jam is not what you want to do in this situation out here in the field. On the goal line, stuff like that makes a little bit more sense. But the 2-hand jam and then the balance, right? He's off balance. Look at how he's falling backwards, right? He can't get his hips open. Tons of gather steps. Ball is caught. Now, again, where is he aiming? He's aiming this way. He's aiming laterally instead of aiming at the receiver, aiming at the hip of the receiver. Taking a flying guess about what's going to happen here. Juked out of his shoes. Not good. Not good. All right, so we'll see it again from the tight here. Quick game concept. Quick game. He just is really struggles against quick game. Overruns it here. There's no vision. There's no eyes. There's no tracking of the ball carrier. No tracking of the hip or anything. He's just out here running. Not good. Not good. So I believe this rep is going to be a much better rep if memory serves correct here. So he's in press coverage here. Again, right? Look at this. Very patient here in his press. Motor feet. Reading the release. Trying to keep his shoulders square. Hips open up a little early, but that's fine. Gets hands on the receiver. Look at the arm bar here. This time, look at the balance. The balance is much better. He's not leaning into the guy with his body or anything like that. Much better balance. And now, with that 4.39 speed, he can get into a cutoff position. And now he can lean on him. And the roles have reversed. Who's the receiver now? He's running the route for the receiver. Gets up there. High points the football. Interception. This is the one area of his game where I think he is very special and he's very elite. You do not see him get beat on deep balls. The only deep ball that, if memory serves correct, that I can remember of watching all of his film was last year against Jamison Williams, who he didn't run the 40, but that dude is definitely a 4.2 40 guy. So you're not going to see it a lot on tape, him getting beat over the top. So this is an elite deep ball press rep here, okay? Gets into the body of the receiver, squeezes him to the sideline. He turns into the receiver, runs the route for him. It looks like the pass is being completed to him. That is a great rep. Great rep by Kelee Ringo. All right, so now we got him up here at the top of the screen in press. And so he gets the hands on, and this time it's much better. Much, much better, okay? So really good feet here. Again, motor feet. There's a hard inside release, so he can't stay square for too long, but he's nice and patient. Gets hands onto the receiver and knocks him off of his path. And he gets in a much better position when he's covering guys like this, when he can field them, right? When he can feel you and he's got his hands on, he's much better at changing direction. The feet don't look nearly as heavy, and he's all over that. Really good rep right there. All right. So now we got him in off coverage. This is another thing that comes up a lot, okay? So, you know, a guy that doesn't change directions as well, some people might say, oh, maybe he's a zone corner, can play in cover 3. He is very, very poor at understanding where his cushion is. He turns way too early, oftentimes. And you'll see it on this play here. This is why I would not want to see him in a cover 3-based system, because he gets here. This is fine. Get in your half turn. Keep your eyes down. Look at the receiver. Wait until he gets in your blind spot. There's no way that this guy is in his blind spot at this point. He speed turns way too early. And that transition slows you down. And 2, it just gets you out of rhythm in the rep. You're totally out of rhythm here. And then again, right? Very heavy feet. Very heavy feet. Very slow transition here. Again, ball doesn't come here, but if this pass is thrown this way, you tell me this is anticipated. Is he making a play on the football? No. No way. So, next play here, off coverage. Right? So, here he's inching out, little scooch technique here, right? Slant route. And so, we'll talk about this at the end of the video and how I think that this play specifically translates to what I think he would be really good at in the NFL. But when he can break downhill, right? When there's not a lot of hips involved, when he can just click and close, man, this dude's got some highlight reel hits. Bang! Gets right into the body of this receiver. I love this right here. Really great click and close. Really great instincts, too, to know what's coming. He's been getting killed on quick game the entire game. He just gets in there, drives on this thing, and knocks the receiver out. KO right there. Love that rep. We'll be able to see it from the tight here. Let's fast forward a little bit. Gets into the screen, attacks the receiver. Bang. Very physical. All right, so now we got him at the bottom of the screen here. And again, right? Not very good. Not in rhythm here. He understands. The other thing, too, is he's smart. It's not like he's out here and he's like some dummy or something like that. He knows. He sees the motion. He knows what the rule for the check is. He switches to the next receiver. Would have been nice to be able to see him cover Hyatt there. But switches to the next receiver. But eyes and balance. Look at how off balance he is. Look at his body positioning here. This is not great. So it allows the receiver to slip him and get behind him. Now he's got a speed turn. He's out of rhythm. And then again, the balance shows up again. The feet are very, very heavy. It's like he's running in concrete. Can't change directions. The ball was coming over here. This guy's wide open. Just not good. Not good. All right, last play here. We're going to end with a positive one here. So again, off coverage. He's reading the route, reading the tempo. Very good job being patient here. It ends this time. He actually does do a good job of when the receiver gets into his blind spot, turns, gets into him, forces him to sideline with his body, cut off position. Can't run by him. You are never going to run by this guy. So that's it for the breakdown on him. After watching all of that, I just do not believe I would take him in the first round. He is just not a first-round cornerback, especially with how talented this class is, with how many good corners there are in this class. If I'm a GM, with how many tackles are going to go at the end of the first round, I think, and with tackle depth being an issue across the entire NFL, other positions, edge rushers, some of these receivers that are not going to be, top 10 receivers like we normally have in a normal year, I just would not be able to pick him in the first round. I think there's too much talent at other positions. To me, I think if he plays corner in the league, if he ends up being an outside corner, I don't see him having a very long career, because you got to think about it like this, okay? He's going to be going up against the Stephon Diggses of the world. He's going to be going up against the Deebo Samuels, the Brandon Ayuks, right? Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Those types of receivers, Devontae Adams, anyone with any kind of like twitch to their game, any kind of shake to their game, I don't think that he can cover those guys. Anyone with any level of change of direction, you're just gonna intermediate and quick game him to death. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Vertical concepts, stuff like that, bigger receivers like the T. Higginses of the world, yeah, I think he can cover those guys. But like on a consistent basis, I don't think that he can cover the dudes that have a little bit more wiggle to them. So back to that rep where he drove on that slant route and totally crushed the dude. To me, he's a safety. He looks just like his old college teammate that's playing for the Vikings now, Lewis Seen. His game looks very similar to him. Tight-hipped kind of guy, but could cover tight ends, had elite speed, very physical player. I would love to see him, especially in a quarters-based system. A lot of these teams are playing quarters now. I could see him, taking on vertical slots and things like that. He's not going to get beat deep. He's too fast for that. I think that he should move to safety, and I think he would have a very, very long career if he does that. But I'm sure him and his agent don't want to hear that, because that would leave a lot of money on the table. All right, I got a little long-winded there at the end, but I just wanted to give you my assessment of what I saw from Kelee Ringo. Don't hate him as a player. I think that he could make it in the NFL if he's in the right situation. So that's it for this video, and I got some more coming for you, so you're going to want to come back for more breakdowns. But as always, you know what it is. It's Coach Williams, Ball Hawks. We fly. I'm out. Peace.